Hi, this is Cora Stack here, Dr. Stack. Thank you very much for all the wonderful comments there on the latest situation with the protest, the blockade protest, or what it was called, and the Gord response, and definitely the sense from reading all the posts, which were all very interesting, and they were all different perspectives, was that definitely the Gardaí were out of that they they didn't act appropriately, that they were heavy-handed was one word which was used, and certainly that probably is an understatement. Yes, by and large, I thought that the contributions reflected a very broad range of views, which would kind of give you a view of the pulse of the nation. So there were very considered views from very insightful contributors, and certainly, there's a major question for the commissioner there. I raised some major questions for him to consider whether he reads my posts or not. Probably not, but it would be in his interest to look at those posts from the many perspectives that ordinary people who contribute very intelligently and in an informed and considered way to my channel. So well done to everybody who has taken the time, because it takes a lot of time and it takes a lot of courage to even like or share or make a post, because people are afraid. People are afraid even to contribute to a post in case they'd be the guards would go after them, or they'd be penalised, or this sort of thing. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, this is living in a dictatorship society that people are terrified. I mean, people should be allowed to express their views, express their views, and in a reasonably measured way. Obviously, the tensions were high, and I mean, what happened and what was reported was really, really was. It was a desperate indictment of the Garda Síochána. But as one person was saying, that really it came from higher up than the Garda Síochána. The Garda Síochána were just taking orders. But still, I feel that the commissioner, could have handled it better. I mean, there are some very good negotiators in the Garda Síochána, and then the policies, criminalising everything, as I raised with coercive control, perhaps is not working. It is a criminal offence, I suppose you could say, but it's not working, because the level of resources that have to go into one case means that, X plus, so many other cases are gaslighted, and are people are told you've no case, instead of saying, sorry, we haven't the resources to investigate it, and tell the truth, so they're gaslighted. Or there can be other reasons, indeed, conflicts of interest and things like that. They would rarely be exposed, but certainly it looks like the international picture is that if it's psychological coercive control, there just isn't. Gardaí are looking at it through the old offence of physical abuse, and they can that's an incident-based framework, and they're not able to deal with the passion-based framework. But in any case, they prioritise sexual or physical offences over psychological coercive control, even though many people would say the harm caused by sustained psychological coercive control is much more severe and long-term. So this is something that, but then other people would say that this sort of behaviour is endemic in a lot of organisations. You just don't have coercive control in the intimate setting. We have it in the employment law. I've written a very good paper on this, that in the dignity and respect policies in employment law, you never hear the word coercive control. And and that's international. And people don't change just because they move from the family to the employment situation. You can have very controlling people in employment situations in the workplace and in the home, and the behaviours are very, very similar. So why would one be bullying, inverted commas, which is never, you rarely get anybody ever accused of bullying, and then it seems to be the same with coercive control, because it's bullying would never be, it rarely is physical, because if it's physical, it's then criminal. It's back into the old offence. So the question is, do we need a new framework for considering policy solutions to this type of coercion in the workplace, or in the intimate or family settings, and do we need a layered or tiered approach? And I'm advocating for a problem solving interdisciplinary kind of approach before court. It's not so much mediation, it's interdisciplinary to see if the problems that are causing the person to become excessively controlling can be resolved. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't, but it's worth giving it a shot, and it's certainly worth a pilot view. But there is no policy out there of this